my firm, including me, we live and breathe this stuff. So it's particularly important to me to make customer experience strategic to my clients. So that's my mandate, telling customers to embrace digital, otherwise they get disrupted. So that's my hope, make it strategic to clients. Thank you. All right, let's get started. So customer experience is truly the new battleground. We're living in a world where technology gets commoditized quickly, organizations and brands who are competing with each other. The differentiation is not that much. So when organizations or brands or products go out and compete, they're actually differentiating on customer experience. Your customer experience that you deliver to customers at each touch point, whether it's online, offline, that is a strategic differentiator for you. If you don't get that right, you get disrupted. And the numbers back this up. Forrester does a customer experience, they do research on customer experience, and what this graphic shows is that organizations who are leaders in customer experience, they have double-digit, they lead over laggards by double-digit in the S&P 500. So they're delivering real value, they're delivering ROI, and customer experience is a key differentiator, a key reason of why they ultimately deliver value. Customer experience impacts loyalty metrics. So if you're an organization, get this right. So if you're delivering great customer experience, your customers are more likely to stay with you, not go to a competitor. Ultimately makes a big difference. My own experience, we looked at the Apple products, so I'm a big fan of the Apple products. I'll give you the other side of the story. Because I use this product, I was on the Samsung device for a long time, and one day my phone had died, I had to send an email. My wife uses the Apple product. My experience of using the product, the first time I typed on the product, I didn't make a single mistake. And on the Samsung product, I would always make mistakes. Maybe it's just me, but my experience was so good, I switched. And I've never switched back. And that's just an example, personal example of getting the right product. We talk about these things because these are real numbers. And when brands get this right, it's no longer notional, it's no longer, it's kind of a little fuzzy. These are real numbers that drive value. So, why are we talking about customer experience all of a sudden? Why all of a sudden customer experience is becoming so important? Well, one of the reasons is that the customers change. You think about ourselves, right? So you started this morning, you probably were on social media, checking out Facebook, Twitter, you went into the office, you were on your devices, and you're probably going to go out, home, you'll be again on your device, checking out perhaps email. So you're switching devices, you have access to information, you're continuously informing yourself, so you're leading the buying process. So brands have to align with your ability or your knowledge of information to buy products. So you're in control. Organizations have to actually ensure that they align with you because ultimately you drive the buying process. So you as a customer have changed. You're more informed than ever before. We've seen this massive change in the last few years. We talked about the Lumascape and going from 200 to 900 products in no time. We've just seen so much content and information being created over the past few years. Incredible. There's some statistics that that say that in the last 2 years we've created more data and content than in the history of mankind. So in a world where there's so much content coming from mobile, social, video, from the cloud, everything's being stored in a single place, ultimately the experiences you deliver could be relevant to your customers or they could confuse them. If you're not relevant because everything is inundating your customers, you would essentially could be disengaging them. And when you think about technology and products that customers have, what organizations are finding is that these differentiators go away very quickly. So if you have a product or if you have a service, your competitors will catch up with you very quickly. But ultimately, if you deliver great experiences to your customers and you focus on creating that engagement with them, that could be a differentiator because everything else gets commoditized very quickly. So customer experience is becoming very, very important. And with this new customer who's always on, always informed, we talked about that one example, we're always connected with our devices. You have very little attention. So we talked about this notion of quite personalization, right? So quite often I get asked by customers, well, what about the creepiness factor? If you're like chasing a customer on the internet, throwing ads at them, or they're on your website and you're giving them something personal. Well, what's the flip side? Would you be rather impersonal, show them stuff that they're not, that's not relevant to them, send them emails which are completely off topic? So unless you are sending relevant information, your customer will disengage from you, because we're in a world where no one has attention, right? So we have information abundance, right? But no attention. As consumers, as B2B buyers, we have no attention. So if we are not relevant to our customers, we lose them. And we talked about this customer moving across, the whole life cycle across the journey through devices, through channels, and they do this seamlessly. We go from our mobile device to a desktop to social media. It's a seamless experience. So if you're trying to engage with your customer and you're trying to do it on a channel-by-channel basis, you're not going to be able to understand what the customer really wants. So quite often organizations have a team managing the website. Then there's a social media team. Then there is an email marketing team. And these teams don't talk to each other. I've been in meetings where they're meeting for each other for the first time. But ultimately, the customer who's engaging with them is engaging on channel. You don't know as an organization what the customer truly wants. So if you're not wrapping around the customer's journey as an organization, you're essentially not understanding what customers truly want, and you're very segmented and siloed, and it doesn't work anymore. So we're also seeing, we're going away from information scarcity to abundance, where the control of organizations has moved from sales to marketing. Marketing has much more control over the sales life cycle or how they impact revenue. So things are changing at a rapid pace. So customer experiences has got to become important for customers. And there's some pretty interesting things happening out there. Some examples of breakthrough customer experiences. A company in the US called Cabbage, they approve loans 5,000 times faster than a bank, right? Just think about what it means for a small business, for an individual. If they can get their loan approved in like less than 7 minutes, it transforms how they do business. And that's customer experience. That experience that a customer gets in getting the loan approved right away, it aligns our customer with that brand. Disney Magic, if you go to their theme park, they track every little thing that you do with these wristbands that they give to you, and they give recommendations based on where you are, what you're interested in, and they make it personal for you. So it's no longer about just the website, that's important, but everything is connected. You're receiving emails based on the bands that you're wearing. You're getting alerts on your devices based on the bands you're getting. Everything's connected. Netflix, the business model is based on personalization. Just imagine if you were to go to a Netflix-like site and they throw all these videos at you and you have to go find something with a shovel. You'll never really use the service as much. So Netflix as an organization is committed to delivering great experiences, making it relevant and personal for customers. Uber, based on simplicity and convenience, they've basically disrupted a whole industry. So when you use Uber today, it's a completely digital experience. You book your cab, you use it, you get feedback, you pay. It's all in this one experience. So these breakthroughs are happening around us, but unfortunately, they're few and far between because organizations are not really embracing customer experience. And what we're seeing is that customers are taking a stand. They're saying that they're not receiving tailored experiences, it's not relevant to them, and they're actually disengaging from brands. Greg gave some examples of that. So why is that happening? What we see time and time again is that when marketers engage with customers, they're again very siloed. They don't coordinate against channels. So someone's sending email, someone's doing something on the website, but the customer is that same customer. So they're receiving an email which is out of context with the website, or if they're receiving something on a mobile app, there's an SMS message which is very popular in India, is completely irrelevant. So these channels are actually disengaging the customer. They're unable to measure. So Greg used this example of measuring when someone takes an action with the brand, how do you track that entire digital footprint and actually measure? And what we see is that most organizations don't have this synchronized view of your customer. So if you don't know what the customer wants, what they're engaged with, are they a fit with you, for you, then you're not going to be able to engage with that customer. And finally, your technology is not integrated. You have this whole ecosystem, which is essentially not connected. So email sending email, websites doing website. The customer is expecting you to coordinate the experience across all these channels. What that leads to is essentially marketers are not able to deliver these experiences. Everyone has the right intention. Customer experience is a top priority for organizations, but due to these reasons, what we see is that marketers are not delivering great customer experiences that satisfy customers and turn them into customers for life. So we covered quite a few points in the previous presentation, a lot of ideas of what you could do. I'll try to set that up into a framework of sort of how do you get there. So start with knowing your customer. It's a simple concept, knowing your customer. Everyone wants to know the customer, but ask yourself, is all your data integrated? Do you know when someone touches your email, goes to your website, connects with you on social media, do you have all of that in one place? Do you have a single view of that customer? And are you wrapping all your experiences around the customer and their journey? Do you have a platform that aligns with the customer's journey? So is your website not speaking to social media, not speaking to your email marketing system, and is it all essentially siloed? Or are they working together in symphony and they're wrapping around the customer journey and delivering a great experience? Are you personalized? Are you engaging with the customer wherever the customer wants? We're in a world where the customer decides where to engage. I prefer to receive emails. Someone else might prefer to get information on Twitter or Facebook. So we decide as customers where we want to engage. As marketers, as organizations, we have to ensure that we deliver content and experiences wherever the customer wants. So if you're not able to personalize and engage across all channels, you lose your customer, you lose a segment of your customers. And finally, measure what matters. Go away from vanity metrics like number of hits on the website or email. Those things are important. But what if you could measure how engaged a customer is? If you have the score of how much of a fit a customer is, and then you could actually see how engaged they are with you. What could you do with that type of information? So if two people go to your site and someone is actually a buyer versus someone who's just researching is not really a fit for your product or service, what if you could understand who that person is, who's a fit, and how they're engaging with you, and how could you potentially send content and information to them to really engage with them? So if you could do that type of stuff, and technology and tools can help you do that today, you can really transform engagement. So if you have in our opinion, when we work with customers, we help our customers understand who their customers are, integrate their technology so they can wrap experiences across the customer journey, and they help them personalize and give relevant experiences to clients, and help them measure engagement, measure what really matters in terms of what customers truly want, and deliver experiences that are relevant. So we'll go through a few of these and talk about how you can do this. So there's been a focus, a shift from thinking about, how do we sell to a customer, to thinking about the funnel. Now it's all about the customer journey. So this is an example of what Forrester uses as the customer journey map. So understanding where the customer is as they discover, explore, buy, and engage with you. If you could map out for all your segments what each customer type is looking for, if you could, marketing, sales, the analytics team get together and map out the customer journey, that would be a great start, because what you'll start to see is that one, teams will start to align because they'll start to focus on the customer rather than their channels. And two, you'll start to understand what customers truly want. And then you start to understand who these different types of customers are. You start to segment them, right? You start to understand what are they looking for, what type of information they want, and ultimately these guys are the ones who are driving the customer journey. So as you start to profile these customers, you have to start to think about, well, how can I capture all the information of this customer in one place? And if you can capture all your customer information into one profile, we call it active profile, then you can actually engage with the customer. You can use that profile and your tools can actually deliver experiences, so whether it's sending out an email or personalizing the website, as Greg showed, you could deliver experiences which are truly relevant. So some of the things you can do to capture the single view of the customer, you can try to capture what we call implicit context, which is I'm going on the website, I click on a few pages, I come with a search term. So you can use those terms and that footprint to start to understand what the customer wants. You can track all of that. The technology, this is not code level stuff. This is what marketers can get right out of the back with some of these tools which are out there, including Sitecore. You can actually pick up information from external providers. So, for example, with a very large card issuer, when a customer visits the website, as soon as they hit the website, they do a pull from external systems about that customer. They look up IP or information, and they do a pull into their systems. And they can look up who this customer is, which industry do they belong to, are they a big company or a small company? So they can just do that based on the IP. Or if the customer registers on a form, they can again do a lookup and get more information. So what they're doing is trying to build context with implicit, external, and as well as explicit. So explicit is getting customers to give information to you. So what could you do as an organization to get customers interested in the information they have? So if you give something of value, content marketing, as an example, is based on the simple concept of you give something to a customer of value and you get something in return. Simple as that. So if you give them, say, a white paper or an offer or something of that nature, they will be happy to fill out forms for you and essentially give you information. And then over time, as you interact with that company, there's this whole notion of progressive profiling. You can start to collect information. So this is an example of using implicit, external, and explicit information to actually build this profile of a customer. So if you understand the customer journey, you start to build the profile of the customer, you can track everything in the single view of the customer. You can really try to understand who this customer is, and you're not looking at number of hits on the website. How many email opens did I get? You're truly getting to what's important, is who is this customer, how are they engaging with you? So some examples of this, so you can use this profile, and you can start to link all your channels. So if you're doing email marketing, you do it against a profile of an individual, and truly try to get to what we call as one-to-one marketing, and deliver experiences for that one customer. You can actually get this insight into your CRM. So this insight can be delivered into your CRM. So what if your sales team goes into your CRM, if you have Salesforce, Dynamics, they look at a customer name, and right next to it they can see this engagement that the customer has had with your organization. That's really powerful stuff, right? So you just think about your sales team armed with this information. They know what the customers looked at, right? What links they saw on the website, what type of information are they looking at, how engaged are they with you? And if you can get that information to the hands of the sales team, that's really powerful. So those are a couple of examples of what you could do with this type of, with capturing a single view of the customer. So if you know your customer, then you need tools to work together in symphony to actually engage with that customer. And we have this notion of what that we call, in the industry, called the customer experience platform. So if you have a customer experience platform where your technology is integrated, so say your content management system, your email marketing tool, analytics, CRM, they're all talking to each other, you can build this profile. If you have this profile as a marketer, you can truly get the insights that matter to you as an organization. And if you get the insights, you can optimize experiences, whether it's on the website, mobile, social, display media. You can essentially deliver information, you can deliver ads, you can deliver content wherever you please. So every organization has different types of technologies, but the key thought is, how can you integrate this technology? Is your content management system speaking to marketing automation? Can they be on the same platform? Where is your analytics? Is it truly capturing analytics from all systems, or do you have separate analytics for web, social, email, and such? Is it connected to your CRM system? Are you bringing everything together? Or every time a customer visits on the website, if we looked at that Apple example, you don't know what's going on. Are you getting that single view? So, oops, sorry about that. Are you capturing all that interaction wherever the customer engages with you, on your website, whether it's in an event like this? Are you capturing that in a single place? And is it meaningful? And then are you getting the insights into the hands of the marketers to actually use this information to deliver experiences? So a concept of building a customer experience platform to wrap around the customer experience and the customer journey will help you engage better with your customers. So here's an example of, I'm going to actually switch this off if you guys don't mind. I'm loud enough as it is. So if you think about the customer journey, and there's different buying cycles, different journeys that you would have. So you would have to think about, what drives awareness, interest, how do they learn about your products, they justify and validate the product, they select it, and there's an experience with the product. So whether you're a B2B organization, you're a B2C organization, there's some kind of a customer journey that your customers are going through. So as they go through this journey, how can you align your technologies? So how can you get all your channels to engage with your site, with analytics, and at the top of the funnel, start to drive interest for your organization? And as they do that, your tools such as marketing automation, your campaigns and CRM, they all work together against the customer journey. So this is an example of making your technologies all connect so that the customer journey is engaged with at all touch points. So if you have a strategy that can pull all of these things together, you can really drive engaging experiences. The content management system is quite important. It actually impacts the entire journey. At the top of the funnel, it can really help you drive awareness, consideration, and you can start to, when traffic hits your website, you have a new visitor coming to your site, you can really start to generate leads and opportunities for your organization. A marketing automation system quite often works in the middle of the funnel. So someone registers and becomes a lead. You can start to send relevant information, personalized to them, depending on events, triggers, depending on where they are in their buying journey with you. And then analytics can help you track everything in one place. So that's the stack of the customer experience platform. So we encourage our customers to think about when they buy technology, how does it fit into a single customer experience platform that engages customers? So you know your customer, you've built this technology, what do you do with it? You have to deliver experiences no matter where the customer is, and you want to personalize those experiences. And I think personalization is just good marketing, right? It's the right message to the right person at the right time. Why wouldn't you do it? It's important to customers. It increases sales. We all know why it's important, but delivering it is quite often a challenge. And what we all know that when customers come to your site and there's high bounce rates of 50, 55, 60%, is because customers are essentially not getting what they want. They come to the site, they go, not quite for me. So if I'm going there with that example of Nissan, I'm on the site and I'm not getting what I want. I see products which are not relevant to me, I may leave. So I may not dig around. So how do you ensure that you deliver experiences which are relevant? You have to personalize. Otherwise your customers will bounce from your site. You invest hundreds and thousands or millions of dollars on your website and you start to see all these customers bounce because it's not relevant for them. So organizations start to think about their website and they personalize based on a variety of factors. So this on-site behavior, so what happens on the website, what you click on tells the organization what you're interested in, you're leaving a footprint behind, and you can use that to actually drive personalization. You can start to think about geography. So someone in a global organization, many of you work in multinationals, so if someone in your geography lands on a website in India, there's no point showing them a site which is global. Show them something relevant for this geography. They're probably more interested in that. And you can actually start to do it based on a variety of information. So organizations look at on-site, inbound marketing, geography are key factors that they typically use for personalization. And then you can start to think about your customers and really start to ask yourself, well, where are they coming from? What devices they have? What referral sources are they coming from? What type of search terms are they using to come to your site? To start to actually think about what type of personalization tactics you'd apply. So when you think about referral sources, you can think about organic search, they're coming from email. There's paid search. We saw that one example. If someone clicks on a paid search on a banner, on a Google ad, or if they are searching for some kind of a product or a service, you can deliver personalization based on that. This is simple stuff now with the technology that's out there. This stuff used to cost, Amazon built this, probably cost them $1 billion, something ridiculous like that. A lot of that's been commoditized and actually being built into technologies like Sitecore, where you can do all this stuff pretty easily. And then you need to start to think about the device that someone's coming from. So if you're not giving them a responsive experience, I think I saw some data points in India, the number of sites, it's just amazing. It's such a mobile-first market, but most websites are not responsive still over organizations. It boggles my mind, why wouldn't you do it? We all use websites, we go on our mobile devices, go to websites, and if it's not personalized, it's like the worst experience. So we know it, but people think it's too difficult. It's not. Technology can quickly get that done. Marketers have the tools to make this happen. You can also personalize based on where the customer is. So this is an example of American Express. So in this example, they had, this was targeted towards small businesses. So they had someone from a dental practice versus a law firm visiting the website. They had targeted ads and they had banner ads and all kinds of media linked with it. So if you were a dentist, you come to the site, you see a dental chair and content which is relevant to you. So it was personalized for the same product to that individual versus a law firm where they would talk about expense management because lawyers travel a lot. So you could personalize information and experiences based on where they are, which segment they belong to, and where they are in the buying journey. So that's another example of driving personalization based on the buying life cycle. So here's an example of a customer of ours where, based on the digital footprint, someone goes to the website, they navigate, they click on a few products, they spend a lot of time on this particular product, which is towards productivity and efficiency. So next time they come to the site changes for that particular product. And so the site knows who this individual is and what they're interested in, and they deliver that based on simple things. And this can all be programmed, and you can test till you see the data actually work. In another example, if it's an existing customer, we know who they are. We would have say a login available to the customer to actually log in and get into the site. Again, it's telling you as an organization that we really care about you as a customer. We'll give you what's relevant and something that will drive a great experience. The other notion that we talk to clients about is the notion of scope. So you think about all your channels. You've got social media to manage, you've got email, there's, and the customers wants to consume information anywhere. But if you're creating specific content for your website and other assets, and this content can't be pushed out to different locations, you actually are unable to really engage the customer because the customer is expecting to receive information, say on email or social, and you only have it on the website. So this whole notion of creating content once and publishing it everywhere is quite important, because wherever the customer is, they can receive information and content which is relevant to them. So this notion of create once and publish everywhere is quite important to deliver great customer experiences. So if you bring all these capabilities together, here's the type of experience you could drive. Greg showed an example, but here's an example of a product company. They sell headphones. And say someone visits their website, it's an unknown visitor. They interact with the website, they view product, they like the product, but they haven't really bought it, so they register. As soon as they register, you can start to connect with them through email, or you start to actually learn who they are. They tell you their name, their location, what they're interested in, so they become what we call as a known visitor. So you just converted an unknown visitor to a known visitor. So think about your own websites and how you can convert someone who's completely unknown coming to your site into someone who's known. And when that person becomes known, you can actually start to deliver content which is relevant to them. So I looked at a particular product, I get an offer for that product. I can buy that product now. As soon as I buy the product, you can deliver an SMS. And then based on that, once you leave the site, you can start to see banner ads linked to perhaps the next step. They may be interested in accessories, they're interested in perhaps wires, etc. So you can start to actually target them with relevant information as opposed to targeting them with the same product. And once they have this great experience, they'll talk about you on social media, and you can track that. So this entire experience is enabled through that customer experience platform. If your technology is integrated, you can really have this one-to-one experience where the customer feels you know what they're interested in, and you're giving them only what's relevant and believe about you. So that's the type of experience you can start to think about by creating these customer journeys, and think about what type of experiences you can deliver at each touch point. Finally, measuring customer engagement. So as the customers, you have customers who come into your website and reading information and such. You need to start to understand who the customers are, because by understanding the data in real time, you'll start to get more value out to the customers. You try to personalize and optimize any experience that you deliver to them. So it's all, well, it's all easy to say, but it's very difficult to actually start to calculate and measure the ROI, right? Because everyone wants to do it, but then how do you do it? The challenges that organizations run into is, one is closed loop reporting. So one of the issues is they have email data, they have website data, they have social data, and all this data is very difficult to connect. We all know, right? By the time you connect it, it probably loses its value. Reporting across the funnel, so they get information, oh, we got X leads, right? How many opportunities did you get if you're a B2B company? Well, out of those opportunities, how many were converted to deals? Having access to that information for a marketer is key, because they keep talking about leads, those leads might be useless. Understanding how marketers influence the pipeline. So marketers quite often just focus on driving leads, transactions at the top of the funnel, but they're not looking across the funnel, because they typically don't have the data or the reporting to make that happen. And typically your systems are not connected. So that's one of the reasons why it's really hard to get to true measurement. So some of the things you can start to think about to measure effectively. First, start with the insight. Ask the question, right? Ask the question what you want to measure, because quite often, you're measuring things for the sake of measurement, right? So if you're say a consulting firm, question is what really matters to your business. What matters is engagement, perhaps. How your customers are engaging with you. They're not coming to your site buying anything. They want to actually engage with you, and you want to be able to measure that engagement across all your accounts and actually report that back to the enterprise. So that's the insight you need, is engagement of that particular customer. Someone else, perhaps, is just transactions on the site. So understanding what insights you need, and then you can start to actually establish the metrics that link with those insights. So if it is, I really want to know who the customer is on the site, what they're doing, I can start to create an engagement metric. And once I do that, I can start to ask myself what data sources are needed, and then I can build other reporting. Now, systems that we have out there, connecting the data, connecting systems is a lot easier than it used to be. There are tools out there that just essentially do reporting. There are tools that actually do it all in one platform, such as Sitecore, but it's all feasible. It's just a question of asking the right questions, understanding what data you need, and actually starting to build the reporting and the insights. So as you start to think about the insights of this customer, you can start to think about what campaigns drove the most amount of leads, what campaigns delivered the highest returns. You can start to ask the right questions about the insights. You can then start to think about what metrics you want. You need to know how many leads you drove at the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, or perhaps at the bottom of the funnel. What is the cost per lead? How much ROI that campaign drove? And then you can start to think about all the data sources, whether it's your CRM system, marketing automation, your content management system. What are the data sources you want? That can ultimately drive that engagement or measure the right things that you want as an organization. This stuff is not that difficult. It's just marketers need to ask the right questions around these items. So I wrap up by saying that by focusing on your customer and aligning technology and aligning around the customer journey, you can deliver great customer experiences. So it starts with your customer, understand who they are, map the journeys, connect your systems, measure the right things, and you can deliver personalized engagement. That's it.